Awesome. Well, great to be here, everyone. I love being back with Midday Connect. Just always exciting to go and meet folks in the community and get to like so much of this. I'm an avid community builder myself, and just excited to go and use these as conversation starters, right? This is so much of what we're what this is about. And I love communities like this and seeing just so many of the brilliant folks in there. The title slide coming in all right?
Perfect.
Okay, great. Well, then we can dive in here. So, yeah, I'm David Berkowitz. I founded AI Marketers Guild, dabbling in some consulting as well with high caliber AI. Really just interested in that intersection of AI and marketing. A lot of what you're going to see today is also me eating my own dog food, and it's just great that after yes, like coming out with the book earlier this year and just being in this space a while, and from the agency side, the tech side being able to share a little bit about what I'm learning along the way. So this is really just kind of like a starting point of things I'm seeing. It's so hard choosing the image for some of these slides too. The left is ChatGPT. The right is I think from ideogram. Just some of them are terrible. I will say that these attempts trying to like grab yourself by the bootstraps and pull yourself up by them, that yeah, it doesn't always work. There's a lot of trial and error that goes into these, and but again, so much of it is learning by doing. I like to share what I've learned. You go to this bit.ly link, you can find lots of ways that I like to learn about AI. And by the way, I'll share all these slides as well. There's even a link I just created for where you can just grab the slides right at the end of the talk. So want to make this super easy. If you want me to send you the deck, the PowerPoint, PDF, whatever. This is all about sharing knowledge. I hope to learn a few things from you too. Even in the book, there are some guides that you can have handy. Again, so I don't want to dwell too much on these, but you have these links. They're at your fingertips. I want to dive right into some of these applications of AI for marketing. This there's a great meme account, digital advertising, and this to me really hits home. I'll even show a couple examples of a talk I'm giving soon virtually with my alma mater, Binghamton University, and I can't wait to share this one because yeah, like most of this, we haven't learned anywhere, and we've got to learn from each other and in places like this. So for any old home improvement fans, yes, this one's also one of many I was trying to play with. The best one actually wound up through ChatGPT to give me a pretty good Tim Allen lookalike here, and there were again a lot of things on the cutting room floor here, but some of them I kind of wonder what these tools are, and it's fascinating to even try to see if you could um, posit that these tools are actually thinking, and then like what is going on in their heads. But it's amazing. I want to get in right to just some favorites. I've mentioned ideogram. Again, like there are hits and misses. So with just about any of these, you can create really bad work. You can do some great work, and some of this is like I often wish I was a better user for it. And so some like creative tools, a great creative designer, someone with that sensibility is going to be able to use them well. I think like a lot of folks on this call, I'm a generalist. I have to do a lot myself, or at least I try to do as much as I can and take it as far as I go. And by the way, any tool that I'm talking about here, I set that limit of 30 bucks a month or less. Most of these have some kind of free version that you can actually get a decent amount out of. When I was coming up with a new site, new name, I had a lot of brainstorming with ChatGPT. Uh, High caliber AI, ultimately, long story behind the name that I will not share here, but it was funny. Some of them even like the first one there even gave me a little bit of like Hillary Clinton's logo vibe, if you remember that. Some were a little far out there. Often it will do the thing that you specifically say don't do. And so that's a little bit of a challenge. ChatGPT, like I like the ideogram for breadth. often ChatGPT still like it nails it for depth. And so when I was trying to come up with that right prompt, I was trying to get it to do something a little bit creative with negative space, like you see in the FedEx logo with the arrow embedded inside. Like, can I get one of those, right? And I tried like hell. I tried rewriting the prompts. I was using Gemini and ChatGPT and all these things, and then like playing prompts off different image generators. Finally, ChatGPT actually got kind of close because if you see, I wanted something, I share the name of a serial killer. That's the ultimate story here. So if you Google me, if you AI me, you're going to see a lot of erroneous results. But you see a little hint of that bullet head in the caliber for AI. I couldn't actually get it to do that for both A's, so I went into Canva and just and at some point I'll have an actual graphic designer on Fiverr or something like that clean this up for being a little bit more polished. But what one theme here is that these no tool is an island. I'm spending a lot of time, and I was literally up till 2 a.m. working on some of this stuff, not just for this, but like once I'm not a coder. So vibe coding's a thing, vibe marketing's a thing, vibe sales is probably a thing. I'm sure someone's bought all those domains by now. And so vibe everything, like that you don't need all of that deep expertise in the thing. You just need the vibe of it. Now, constantly I'm discovering as a very avid vibe coder these days that you actually need to know what you're doing. I tried this example here just and it's what's wild to me though is that you take something as simple, this site that actually is live and will work, and again you can play with later. I all I did was the event description. That's it, right? Like it was like a little bit of description, a few bullets, and that was it. So if you see some of this language here, and by the way, not everything's going to work perfectly. I'm not showing you all the polished, like, oh, this is work I'm so proud of or anything like that. It's like, this is real and stuff that with a little bit more time and effort could probably get you where you wanted it. So if I want a microsite for this, it actually wouldn't be too hard. Over the past week, I actually wrote a 4-act play. I was kind of in a daze and wrote an 85-page play that I've been dying to write. And so then I was coming. I'm in New York. I was like on the bus from the Upper East Side yesterday, and I sent a note to myself. I want to try to make I want to try to vibe code a landing page for this. I'm like, screw this. I'm going to do this on the bus, and a lot of it I did, and so got to a prototype of the site. Now, if you actually look at what's involved here, it wasn't that I was using Lovable for this. I was really glad my daughter wasn't there while I was doing it because I was cursing at it sometimes loudly. But got to a place where I found that ChatGPT could instruct Lovable better than I could because ChatGPT knows a lot more about coding than I do. And so that often helped me debug all of the issues that Lovable had. But I needed to do some things, not so much for that site, but for another, where I was connecting it to Supabase. Again, not my area of expertise building databases, but made it pretty easy to do. Form spree, that one, like I already have a whole email. I'm using Brevo for some emails. I wanted to make things easier. So Forms free, actually, like there's a free version of it or a 15 buck a month plan. GitHub. I have an old GitHub account. It was the first time I logged in a decade. I don't know. But again, just making it easy to connect these things. I tried a version on another vibe coding site, Base 44. I even made a nice shorter bit.ly link and a QR code. Again, this stuff will work. You'll see that the white button, you actually have to mouse over to see what it looks like. There's stuff that you can fix, but I wanted to show stuff that was a little more raw, little more real. And it's just, again, wild to see how little information I was able to give it to come up with something interesting. I like using vibe coding for games. I think like we need to play more. I want to do way more with this. It wound up creating a game that is buggy right now, a kind of Space Invaders game, and I don't totally understand it. And then I was trying a version like instead of catching things, it was more of like a breakout style mechanism, Arkanoid for those who have played 80s arcade games, or hopefully still do, to one that was a little bit more of a shooting one, like a Space Invaders Asteroids kind of thing. Again, didn't get all the way there. I can't guarantee that the thing that you try will work when you try it, but do this yourself. Like you can base 44 lovable, you can get a handful of credits for free. Um, yeah, I'm trying to do some more agentic research now, moving on to other kinds of tools and topics. Uh, I don't know if anyone's playing with the Comet browser from Perplexity. I'm trying to use it more. I don't always know when to use it and why, but I think that like as we get into this era, Claude is now releasing an agentic plugin for Chrome. Whenever Google hasn't done something, I'll reinforce this later, but the most important word is yet, right? Because they everything Google does, like they're literally building so many of the underpinnings of the agentic web, whatever this like thing that is so much bigger than the web is, this digital brain is. And so we've blurred the lines already between what's an AI app, what's a search engine, what's a browser. Like to the consumer, it's just the end user. It's just helped me do a job better. This was Perplexity's list. You could, I can't swear that this is all accurate in terms of pricing and everything else, but just thought it was a good alternative. One of my favorite things that comes up that I think is still a little more under the radar than it should be, Napkin AI for visualizations. Whenever I wind up with a list in a deck, in a PowerPoint, I mean, in some kind of collateral, like I have one sheet for a client that just needs a little more pop to it. I put that list into Napkin AI and it gives me some really cool things. And then I'll have like dozens often of options for how to visualize it. And then I can customize it further. Again, awesome free version, and the paid one is cheap. I freaking love like avatar creation. Yeah, I put in the description for the session. Often like something like ChatGPT or Gemini to give me a script. Rather have a latte or an entire AI-powered marketing engine. Because that's basically the trade-off we are making here. Right now, we are using tools that cost less than a fancy coffee to build an actual brand identity, logo, voice, website brief, the works. And I was playing around with accents. This obviously does not sound like me, but gives me a kind of convincing, convincing accent. Uh, 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 the HeyGen avatar for creator, their engine where you can take a still image, and I tend to use Gemini or ChatGPT to create the still image, and then which is important. Is it visible to the eyes, but visible to agents? I was literally spelling out Z eyes as ZE eyes to get the French accent right on here, or something for Binghamton, like this was an actual picture of me, and it's exciting to be here with you today. This is done off of a still picture and actually coming up with very lifelike like imagery. Uh, Hedra is one I've been playing with a lot more lately. Also, super cheap for the basic plan. But you know is 24601. That was my own terrible, terrible French accent, or I could use recorded voices. So, so yeah, just so many great use cases for this. And then being able to plug this in like that next level up is with personalization. I literally used a personalized avatar of myself for virtual holiday cards last year. It was kind of fun. My aunt's like, why are you sending this to me? But most people thought it was kind of cute. Notebook LM, probably a lot of fans here. If you haven't played with their video tool yet, like their video summaries, again, I just put a description of the talk. This wasn't even taking the deck of this, which would be the next phase. And it gave me a 5-minute video just based on a really brief summary. And I think it's actually a really good intro to the talk. Again, like you can play with the whole video when we share this along. Once you have a long video, what do you do with it? I've tried a bunch of these kinds of things, and the one I've been most loyal to for a while now is Opus Pro. Really useful. Again, like there's hit or miss stuff where when you take a video, what it does is it gives you a lot of shorter clips from it. So I took actually my last Midday Connect talk, plugged it into Opus, and it gave me the most shareable links, the most shareable clips. So so this was me last time. I clearly got dressed up a little bit and made a few more upgrades to the office since then. Definitely have a better mic. How do you measure all this stuff? Well, there's a whole slew of GEO tools, AI, SEO, whatever you want to call it, gen engine optimization, AI engine optimization. There's don't worry about the acronyms, but worry about, again, what it does for you. Um, Being able to then like take a domain, see what, this is something really niche. So in my own AI space. So, but being able to see like competitive rankings here. And I got to say, like the kinds of things that AI Marketers Guild is being compared to. It's funny. Leo is actually someone who helped me build the AI Marketers Guild originally, and so, Marketing AI Institute's another great organization. So it's showing me some citations from a really good competitive set. You want to start promoting things, add creative AI. It's almost overwhelming because you will get something that looks like this once you start plugging it. And again, like my inputs here were the most minimal possible and just like giving it a URL and saying go for it. So this is without all the fine tuning. So there's so much you can do. Again, the most important word really is yet. Yeah. If it doesn't work for you today, it probably will tomorrow, or you just haven't found it yet. New developments are happening all the time. I mean, if you've played with Gemini, if you were using Bard last year or so, yeah, and if you're using Gemini 2.5 and VO3 and Nano Banana and all the crazy fruit salad that's coming up next, it's pretty amazing. So yeah, feel free to go and grab the slides. You should see the version that I'm presenting from right now. Again, happy to share this, but bit.ly/middaydb with the DB capitalized. Kind of review. I didn't even get to all these tools because this is a short talk and I want some time for Q&A. But a bit of a refresher and a couple other things that are on my short list. Happy to stay in touch. Feel free. I want to hear some questions now, but anything else you want to follow up with, I'm all for. And again, just so excited to be part of this community and learn from you as well. So thanks, everyone.
David, thanks so much. Amazing, amazing list and presentation here. BJ Sorensen, do you want to come off mute and ask your question?
Sure. Yeah, David, I'm just, you talked about some of the game that you built, and I'm wondering if there are any options you know of to do online quizzes that would be helpful for an e-commerce brand.
Well, so yes, yeah, and so I will say full disclosure, there's a company riddle.com that I've worked with and been an advisor to, and I mean they're fantastic. They've got a new quizzer product that I haven't even gone as deep in yet. But they're really good. There are some other great quiz making options out there, and you can even do some in the main element. Like I've also, by the way, I've gone into Lovable, I've gone into Base 44 and said, just like here's a talk I've given or a piece of collateral. Can you create a new can you create a quiz or something kind of interactive content? Can you create an assessment based on this? Can you then add a layer to it where someone can only get their personalized recommendations from it once they've given you your contact info, and then you link it to a CRM you have, or you just do something like FormSpree if you want to go super basic. So this stuff is getting better in the whether it's the vibe coding things, the major LLMs, but also there are, like, when you want to go deep into a quiz maker, there are a few really strong platforms out there.
Cool. Thank you.
I would encourage everybody to put your questions in the chat. We can put the basically line up there. David, do you have suggestions? Like you just listed some and have used so many amazing tools. Do you have suggestions on where to keep up in terms of tools that are coming out?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd say just some of the basic go-tos that, yeah, I mean, Product Hunt is still really relevant. I check the top products every day. The Neuron and Rundown Daily are both two I think that are most accessible. They're definitely broader than just marketing or sales, and so but I learn a lot from them, and some of it is also just having that stable of folks that you follow for different aspects of this. Like there are people like Jeremiah Ouyang, who's over at Blitzscaling Ventures. I learned so much from him. I included his photo in there. He's tremendous. But then for me, like one of my muses is Ann Hanley from Marketing Profs, and so she's a writer and trying to navigate where AI fits into writing. Yeah, Ethan Mollick comes up. They're always just great, not just like AI influencers, but just people who are sharing such smart stuff. And Shelley Palmer, once you see someone like that, then the bigger challenge I think is trying to narrow it a little so that you have the signal from the few folks you really like. Like I think by all means, like joining a community or two is amazing. Once you have 20 things in the side of your Slack feed, your WhatsApp, like forget it, you're not going to pay attention to any of them, and then you have to mute them, and then it gets really so it's like the places where you actually show up on a regular basis. Midday Connect, amazing. My place, great. Just like whatever your tribe is, then just trying to like double down on the one or two that actually give something back to you.
Great input. Another question from I think maybe Benin. What's the one thing you wouldn't trust AI to do in marketing? And I may add, what's the 2 or 3 things you wouldn't trust AI to do in marketing?
Well, yeah, without being too cliche, it's like, I mean, any kind of first draft, it's just, like even while using AI to help me research stuff for the book, like AI didn't write anything in the book, but it's amazing how many just basic details it gets wrong. It's amazing how hard it is for like I feel like sometimes the simpler your request, the less accurate it is. Like things like word counts are just one of those things that if I'm trying to do something for SEO purposes and I'm like hit this word target, and then like ChatGPT, which I normally love, actually, like it gaslights me. It's like, it's telling me this is a 1,500 word thing when it's 500 words. And then and I'll say on a bigger level, I do test some of these like more like LinkedIn automation tools and some things for outreach. I think some of these things are getting better, but I sometimes when people are commenting on my posts, I'll actually respond AI generated. Like it's so obvious, and it's often the more wordy and detailed the comment is, it's like you just want to deal with a human. When I congratulate someone on a job, I don't use LinkedIn's template. That's not AI, but you see AI versions of this. Like even if I just change the words a little bit, so it's not the same as the 50 other one-click versions of it. Like if it took me 10 seconds to do something instead of one, I, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I believe people notice and I believe people will pay attention to that.
Great feedback. Question from Martin. How do you balance saving money versus actually investing in a few of these tools or a few
Well,
things?
Sometimes you can get away with turning a lot on or off. Like I try to avoid annual contracts, so I might be like deep into avatar mode and like one or two some personalized content, but then I can then go back to the free version of HeyGen or Hedra or what I'm using. Then I've done this with a lot of like voice cloning things like 11 Labs and others. So I think there are a handful of core things. Yeah. Yeah, I've got the evergreen stuff to Gemini and ChatGPT that I'm using all the time. Claude, Claude, I'm not saying is any better or worse. I just turn that one on or off. Ideogram I keep on so much, but sometimes I then like have to get extra credits for. Like I'll be paying more for vibe coding, especially as this stuff works better. Um, but also some of this is in context, right? Like if you can build a great tech stack for for 100, $200 a month, like and you compare to what some of these tools used to cost. Like I looked at the annual plan I was paying for my email newsletter platform, and I was like offended by it. I'm like, there's no way I'm renewing this at that annual rate when you can do things on such a scrappy basis. I'm not even using like 90% of the features. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I can actually basically like create like get like 3 or 5 things a month for the price that maybe I stupidly paid for it at some point. And now yeah so yeah, and I'll put the link in the chat for the for the slides right now, midday/db, with that bit.ly link there, because I see folks asking for it. But yeah, so I think it's like you have your must have. The ideal scenario also, if you're working in kind of an agency basis, is like, can you get some budget for a client for, and build that into your costs, or just kind of like amortize things, and can you charge 50 or $100 more a month for certain projects or retainers? And then it's like, okay, great, this is your tool slush fund. Always ideal when someone else is footing the bill. So,
David, have you or what are you using in terms of agents or agentic AI to in your workflow?
I'm trying a lot right now. And so N8N is one of them. Some of these things I'm almost embarrassed that I can't pronounce all these things. Uh, um, I, I tried ordering dinner for my daughter and I using ChatGPT when their agent was rolling out using Uber Eats, and it was again, this stuff is a work in progress. So I'll try just about anything, once or twice. I feel like if you haven't done anything that is agentic, and it's a whole conversation in terms of what that is, like starting with deep research and then trying to see, can, say, like Perplexity's Comet browser or ChatGPT system then do one or two things. Like you take this research and you plug it into a spreadsheet, that often just like these simple, well-defined tasks that can take some busy work off your plate and organize things better. Like this is it's that kind of stuff where I think a lot of the magic happens. But I will say that most of the things that promise to be agentic either aren't very good, or they play in some area, like there's so many agentic tools for LinkedIn outreach, and like I'm not saying that there's no good ones, and if you're using something you love, please, again, I want to know. But so much of this stuff just feels really fake. I think by the end of the year it'll be even that soon, like a very different conversation.
Yeah. I'm getting a demo and walkthrough of HeyReach tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Have you used that in terms
Um,
of data?
I've checked it out a little bit, but I haven't gone deep in that one. I mean, and some of these things also, like like I've played with Agent AI on that's connected in through HubSpot system. I know they're big at HubSpot inbound is this year, but also I find like sometimes it's almost like an agent right now. Again, this is changing fast, but it's like the intern that's sitting around looking for something to do, and you don't have anything for them to do because it takes you longer to explain it to them than for you to just do it yourself. And so this is where I think, like when you look at that like famous Gartner graph of that trough of disillusionment, especially with like now that everything's agentic, almost nothing is. And so you just got to be prepared to, like with a lot of vibe coding right now, like the number of times I flat out was raging at my laptop, and I'm not that proud of it, but Lovable led me to it. And it's not for the faint of heart, and it's often that like 100th draft that like gets you where you want.
That's great. Got time for one or two more questions if somebody wants to come off mute. Okay, I'll end with my last question here, David. What are one or two things that everybody on the call should do when they hang up to start, if they haven't started using it, like any of the tools? What would you suggest they do in the next 30 minutes to implement or start tactically using some of the suggestions you gave today?
Uh, I'd say, especially like, given so much where this conversation's going, um, I once created a game demo for some folks that we were doing a workshop of, like even on my phone, and like these vibe coding things are not even meant for using on your phone yet. But like I created a version of Flappy Bird for an educational company that's doing like tours to Italy, and it had like flying pasta wheels and the Italy flag and Italian trivia. Literally within 5-10 minutes, I had a version that I was actually showing folks how to play. I'd say just take something that you might have no intention of even using, but especially when you've got something like a game or an interactive quiz or assessment, it's such a great way where you can actually test how it works. You can get feedback. You can ask it to do things like, oh, well, like what are some ways to make this better or personalize the assessment a little bit? And I think if you haven't done something like that and seen how quickly you can do this on a free version with a Lovable or Base 44 or comparable tool, uh, like so much of AI is so visceral, and that's the kind of thing, like when I had that Flappy Bird experience, I was so hungry to do so much more and see like how do I do this for real, and when can I actually go and have like shareable versions of this that I want my clients to see. So that's I'd say one good place to start.
That's great. Thank you. Let's see. David, thank you so much for your time. This was incredible. I think your contact information was in the presentation.
Oh yeah.
So if you haven't downloaded that, hit that link in the chat, the most recent one. And yeah, I would suggest reaching out to David if you have any questions or would like to talk further. But David, thanks so much for your time today. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. And yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Thanks all. We'll see you next week at the same time. Appreciate you all being here. Bye all.